Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome, everybody. It is time for Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Here in Northern Colorado, it is windy. It is so windy. Last night, I was a little worried. I was awakened by the wind here. And of course, my first thought was, oh my gosh, there goes my chicken coop again. Even though we have fastened and secured even better than ever before, I still had the thought in my mind, my Lord, if that chicken coop goes a-flying again, I don't want to be running down the street in my nightie trying to catch my chicken coop. Fortunately, it did okay. It's still not fully repaired, so it's not airtight. That's for sure. But it did make it through the wind. And then the wind is continuing today. And so it's kind of miserable when it's windy, but at least the sun is out so we can enjoy the sun. And maybe I'll get some natural leaf control out of this wind, Maybe it'll just blow away all the leaves. So we don't have so much cleanup to do here on the homestead. One can hope. Can we not? One can absolutely hope for a better outcome, right? Anyway, I hope it's not too windy where you're at and you're enjoying this new fall season. I got a great show for you today. I don't know about you, but Is your feed still completely littered with the EBT issue? Because mine is. And we're getting closer and closer to D-Day, right? I believe it's like November 1st when, they're not going to be doling out the EBT benefits. And so, there's a lot of threats being made. Then there's a lot of like total, misinformation, I guess you could say. I saw something today about like Walmart closing. Like they're going to close, because they can't handle the pressure of being robbed or what have you. I think that's probably not true. The video I saw seemed pretty bogus, but nonetheless, there's certainly, the algorithm is certainly trying to get us worried about November 1st. And so, I want to cover it, but I want to cover it from a different perspective. I want to cover it with how food is a big part of culture control. And it's the kind of food. Like what I'm noticing, okay, so yeah, I hear you. You're not going to get the EBT benefits. It's, we're going to steal from you. We're going to punch you in the face and rob you and come out to the rural farm areas and rob your pantries and take your cows. I mean, I've heard it all today. It's quite entertaining, really, because clearly you don't know anything about people who are living in the country. That's not probably going to be happening. You know what I'm saying? It's probably not going to be happening. But anyway, I get it. You're frustrated. You're mad. And I just can't help but think, all this is being orchestrated, and it's going to have a lot of different repercussions than I think we're thinking about, specifically the stock market. I'm just wondering, I'm not saying it is, but I'm just wondering if this lack of EBT is actually going to affect the stock market because everybody, food is big business. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Especially, the fact that we are down to now, I think, like 9 major food companies that provide 75 to 80% of all the food you see in the grocery stores. So, lots of economic ties to those food companies. And if the EBT isn't going to be doled out, then that means there's going to be a lot of people not buying some centralized from some centralized food companies. They just aren't. I'll tell you what I mean. I've got this video here for you. This is from a Walmart worker who's just, he's had it with the way EBT gets spent. Take a watch and a listen to this.
This, y'all, this is why. Cause what? 3 carts full, y'all. Let me pass her a receipt. This guy said, y'all, they didn't even buy it. And that's what making me even more mad. And everything won't even run up yet, y'all. $1,013. This is why. This is why I be mad at work. This is why I don't want to work on the 1st. Or the 2nd, or the 3rd, or the 4th.
So, of course, the first thing I notice looking at that cart is there's no real food in it. None of that stuff in the boxes, in the packages, that's not food. Now, maybe you could say it's a food-like substance, but that is not nourishment. And then the second thing that comes to mind is, I don't think I have ever gone to a grocery store and dropped $1,000. I don't think I ever have. Not in one shot. I mean, I can't think of a time that I've ever spent that much money. And listen, when I do go to the grocery store, I used to, especially when I had, both my kids at home and, growing boy and all that stuff, I used to get stared at when I would grocery shop. No kidding. Especially during like coming out of COVID. I used to get a lot of dirty looks with the amount of food in my cart. And every single time I would check out, the person, helping me check out, bringing up my groceries, would make a comment like, is all this is a lot of food, this is a lot of food. But it was actual food. And of course, we live in the country. And so I don't want to go to the grocery store every day. So I stock up on things, right? And this household eats, I would say 95% of our meals are at home. Even, my kids at the time, 95%, like we're always cooking. The kitchen's always a mess. I've given up, because I'd rather them eat here because I know it's good, healthy food. But this, I've never spent $1,000, and I'm buying healthy food. 3 carts of fake food, $1,000. Now, just think about all the people that are on EBT. It's our tax dollars that they're spending, but make no mistake about it, we're funding these huge corporations. Our tax dollars are being filtered to recipients of EBT, and they're spending the money with these huge corporations. And then what is that doing? It's a cycle that it's feeding, right? So we have centralized food companies that form big lobbies, right? The lobbies go to government and they lobby and they control government. They control politicians based on their donations. And then government regulates things like EBT. So these cash cards, I don't even know if I knew that these EBT cards can be spent on just about anything. It's not like they have to buy, eggs, meat, fruit, vegetables, things that you would think are nourishing. No, they get these EBT cards and they can buy whatever they want. Of course they can, because the lobbies have ensured that they can. Because it's the same pattern in healthcare. It's the same pattern. It's exactly why they're lobbying right now. Democrats are lobbying to get, on the behalf of pharmaceutical companies, to get Ozempic and Wegovy and these weight loss drugs approved for Medicaid and Medicare, because it's a government system. So it's free money. It's free money. If EBT, it's they know that these people are going to buy junk food because it's addictive. It's addictive. And it doesn't, the poorest people in our country are overfed and undernourished. They're obese. Obesity is a marker of poverty in our country because the food that they are eating is addictive. It's a disgusting cycle when you really look at it. I want to share some other carts. Just as I was, scrolling through, picking up news stories that I wanted to bring to your attention today, I saw several, and I can't even, hundreds probably, of these types of posts. Look at this cart. You got DiGiorno pizza. You got Totino's pizza rolls. You got Hostess in there. You've got Chips Ahoy, right? None of that is food. A steady of diet of that is insulin resistance and the road to diabetes. 100%. Let's look at the next one. I think I have another photo there. Oh, okay. Maybe we don't. I had another photo that just isn't coming through, but is very similar to that. All the same products. So let me tell you about these products. Okay, let's just look at the big centralized food companies. Here are some big players. Pepsi. Okay, they are not just a beverage company. They cover snacks and packaged foods. Tyson Foods is a big producer of food in the food system. Kraft, obviously, they're big into packaged foods, sauces, processed goods. General Mills, they are prominent in cereals, packaged foods, and grocery shelf items. Cargill, another one. Deeply involved in agriculture, food ingredients, and supply chain in the U.S. Nestle, they make those DiGiorno pizzas. Frozen meals, chocolate, fake processed coffee. Mondelez, they're a big one. They make Oreos, Cadbury, Ritz crackers. Stay tuned, everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Hannah from Washington had this to say. She said, I was constantly achy and exhausted until I started working with Tammy. She taught me how to calm my inflammation naturally, and the difference has been life-changing. My energy is back, my skin is now glowing, and I really feel hopeful again. This is what it's like to work in the Naturally Inspired community with me and with the Naturally Inspired community. Try it today. You'll get a 90-day plan. You get priority access to my text line. You get VIP access to our weekly wellness workshops. Schedule your free health and lifestyle assessment at naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. Tonight is the night. I always look forward to Tuesday nights because it's our weekly wellness workshop. And so we're going to be getting together tonight at 7 p.m. on Zoom, and we're going to be talking protein. We've got a lot of new members in the Naturally Inspired community, and one of the pillars to health, which we're going to be covering today, actually, in our health topic, is nutrition. And I really advocate for a high protein diet. Reason being is because it helps resolve insulin resistance, which so many people are struggling with insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction. And so protein is a key pillar of that. So tonight, we're actually going to go over some of my favorite recipes, and we're going to answer questions, and we're going to work together to make sure everybody has a great plan moving forward for their optimum health when it comes to their nutrition. So you can join us still. There's still time. All you have to do is go to naturallyinspiredstore.com and look at some of our products. We have a wonderful reset product, cellular reset, which deals with inflammation. It's a great place to start. It's a great place to start on your optimum health journey. Make a purchase. As soon as you make a purchase, you'll be welcomed into the Naturally Inspired community. I'll send you the Zoom link and you can come and join us tonight in the community. It's never been a better time to get started on your health. I know it feels like, I don't know, what will I expect? What will I do? Don't worry. It doesn't have to be like a fire hose, because once you become a customer, you get access to my health text line. So you get access to me all the time. We will chat back and forth, and together I'll walk alongside you in your optimum health journey. So you don't have to learn it all at once. Just get started. That's the most important thing, is getting going. There's never been a better time to reclaim your health. Got questions? Need more information? Text me, 720-303-8868. All right, I want to start by going back to what I was talking about here in terms of the food lobby. So who makes up the food lobby? The food lobby in the U.S. refers broadly to the network of companies, trade associations, industry groups, and agribusiness interests that actively influence food and agricultural policy. So some key elements of it is like, here are your major actors in it. Large food and beverage manufacturers, companies that produce packaged foods, snack items, beverages, for example. Major clients in the food products manufacturing industry include General Mills, Kraft Heinz, Mondelez International, which is in 150 different countries, and there's a lot of other ones. Agribusiness primary producers and commodity input industries include meat processors like Tyson Foods and Cargill, crop commodity providers, and large-scale farms. Trade associations and industry groups. These act on behalf of multiple companies in lobbying. They help shape legislation, regulatory frameworks. Consumer Brands Association, which was also known at one point as Grocery Manufacturing Association, Food Marketing Institute, American Farm Bureau Federation. Corporate interest advocacy networks. Many large food corporations coordinate globally through interest group networks to influence policy, trade, labeling, and health regulations. The food lobby influences a wide system of policies, including agriculture, labeling, trade policy, tariffs, import, export, food marketing regulation, nutrition guidelines. Good Lord, nutrition guidelines, and even health policy. Like things I'm sure like our food pyramid. So this is really important because this is what's shaping food culture in our country. These corporate gangsters, once again, shaping culture in our country. And what kind of culture do we have around our food, everybody? Well, geez, America's known for being obese. Isn't that wonderful that all over the world we're known for being obese? In fact, during COVID, the main worry about Americans getting COVID was the fact that we had comorbidities of obesity at such a high rate. Like, it's kind of embarrassing, you know, that the world's like, well, America's going to do terrible during COVID because they're all fat. Gee, thanks. Right? The thing is that we're taught to blame ourselves when it comes to obesity and whatnot. The system of mass marketing campaigns has created this, right? The manipulation that comes from things like the food lobby. They determine what ends up on our shelves. And then there's lack of informed consent. And yeah, informed consent around food. I'm not talking about I want to regulate what people eat. I would never. That's not what I'm saying. I know they've tried to do that, put like soda tax on things. I'm absolutely against that. The government has no business in your food, period. But do you hear what I'm saying? The government has no business in your food, period. That means they shouldn't be taking money from lobbyists to shape our food pyramid. That means they shouldn't be taking money from lobbyists. Our politicians shouldn't be taking money from lobbyists to push through legislation that supports their brands. And we certainly shouldn't be doling out ultra-processed foods to our poor people in the country as a form of nutrition. It's actually predatory when you think about it. $1,000 worth of ultra-processed foods is going to lead to diabetes. And who cares, right? Because they're poor and they're buying our food. So who cares? Meanwhile, we're buying the food as taxpayers, and then we're also paying for the health bill on the other end. It's a cycle that like feeds itself all the way down the line, all the way to the hospital bed. Right? I mean, it is quite something, and it goes beyond. It goes beyond just the corporations. They also tie in nonprofits to this to help out. Do you remember this not too long ago? I think I played a similar clip about the American Heart Association that was actually advocating to keep ultra-processed foods on the SNAP program, which is food stamps. And this particular bill was coming up in Texas. Take a listen to this news clip.
Heart Association.
The Heart Association is concerned about potential impacts of this bill on participation and population health. We're in agreement that Texans' diets are in need of improvement, yet imposing nutritional restrictions will interfere with the primary function of SNAP, reducing hunger, without reducing root causes of chronic disease.
Joining us now, Texas State Senator Lois Kolkhorst and Fox News senior medical analyst, Dr. Mark Siegel. Lois, great, Senator, great of you to be here. The Heart Association, you mean to tell me, is saying if you tell people that they cannot buy unhealthy food with their SNAP benefits, that that's somehow going to cause them not to eat?
Because if they can't buy unhealthy food, they just won't eat at all. Maybe for a little bit, but people are going to get hungry, and that's going to cause them to eat, right? And eventually they're going to take what they can get. The reason why the American Heart Association would be against something like this, and this is just my opinion, but, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out here. The reason why I think they would be against this is because of their kind of incestuous relationship with a lot of these corporations. So the American Heart Association has a little program that you can buy into as a producer, and it's called the Heart Check program. Right, you've probably seen it on a number of products. It's a licensing that they pay for through the American Heart Association. It's called the Heart Check program, and companies pay fees to display that heart symbol. It's not a free certification. Fees typically run from a few $1,000s per product per year. Okay, so there's a lot of different products. I'll read you some of them. There's a lot of different products. So the truth about the American Heart Association, it has it doesn't publish actually a master list of all the products, but you can search them, and there's a whole bunch of them. I mean, so I'm sure they don't publish a whole list of them, because you could add up the tally pretty fast. You could figure out how much money these centralized food companies are paying for this certification to cozy up and stay in good standing with a nonprofit like the American Heart Association. So Quaker Oats, they have the designation. Cheerios, of course, that's General Mills, huge centralized food company. Kashi, which is, known for their whole grain puffs. Cream of Wheat, Kellogg's, Corn Flakes, Triscuits, Wheat Thins, Crunch Master Multi-Seed Crackers, Blue Diamond Nut Thins, Pepperidge Farm. And then we go into salad dressings and whatnot too. Wishbone. Of course, these types of products are based off of, the false food pyramid, which was also bought and paid for. Like vegetable oil is good for you. Whole grains and grains, you need 6 servings. All false. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll dive back into this when we come back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. See you in a minute.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
I love to share results with you because people in the naturally inspired community get results. Once you learn, the pillars of health and how you can take personal responsibility for your health and get results, it's exciting. And I'm excited to watch it happen. We have multiple members in the community now that are past their marker of losing 25 pounds or more. Many other people are working with their doctors, of course, to get off medications that they never wanted to be on, and medications that they were told that they had to stay on for the rest of their life. Not so when you change your lifestyle. Join us in the Naturally Inspired community. Head on over to naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. Book yourself a free 30-minute session with me. We're just going to have a little conversation. We're going to talk about nutrition. We're going to talk about your concerns. And we're going to talk about how you can get on a 90-day plan to turn things around in your health. This is the future. We learned yesterday, we've known because this audience is so well informed. But, I showed you some more proof yesterday, from some nurses that were saying, hey, they're moving AI in, and then there's another nurse telling you that, you don't need to be given informed consent to be injected with a biologic. Like, if those aren't good reasons to get out of the medical system, I don't know what are. We're never going to be able to be not use the medical system when we need it. For emergency medicine, you roll your ankle, you pull your tendon, you got to go to the doctor. Okay. But now is the time to do everything you can to live in prevention. Not a great place to be, and especially because a lot of this stuff is preventable. 97% of chronic illness is lifestyle related. I would argue it's probably 100% at this point. So now's the time. Join a community. You need community support. You can get started tonight with our weekly wellness workshop. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. If you have questions, just text me 720-303-8868. So are you getting a feel for what's going on here? It's a little maddening, right? When you see these massive corporations, what they have done through the years is they have bought up all the little businesses, right? Because it's all about bigger, these corporations, right? Centralized food, being bigger, bringing bigger returns to their investors and profits, right? And, I think that holds them over for a while. But then there's this other component of control, especially when it comes to food, because it links so nice and neatly with the commercialized ad campaign of climate change. Right? I mean, it's super consumerism to the max here. Like, the food system, makes me so frustrated because they created a bunch of metabolically unhealthy people here in America through the late 70s and 80s and 90s with diet culture. And they continue to perpetuate it because now people are actually addicted to empty calorie foods, fat-free things, chips, bars, things that are highly processed. And the motivation towards highly processed foods is because they can sit on the shelf forever. So that's, you've got a lot of variables in the whole food sector that, you're really taking a risk, right? If you are a whole food producer, you're taking a risk because whole foods go bad. Crops get wiped out by weather. There's a lot of risk in whole food production. And so these corporations, they're making business decisions. They're like, we need to process this so we can put it in a box, put it in a bag, preserve it, and then put it on the shelf. And it doesn't matter if it takes a year to get in the shelf because we're good. Yeah, but in the process, in the process of processing food, you're taking all the nutrients out of it. You're taking all the nutrition out of it. And you're pumping a bunch of stuff into it just to maintain a shelf life. And that leads to serious health outcomes, right? Serious problems with your health, this ultra-processed food. And we're seeing that especially on full display here because of the EBT war that's going on. And the non-governmental organizations, the non-profits, everything, you guys, is tainted. These charities that started up, we're in the name of, good health. I don't know. I just don't know. Because when it all boils down to it, you see these charities, they're actually in bed with many of these corporations, right? And so we need to consider that. We need to really consider that. And this heart check program with all of their pay to play, they're advocating for foods that lead to insulin resistance. They're advocating here. Let me read some more of the foods here. I don't know if it'll surprise you, but remember the big initiative to get you away from butter? Butter, one of the most nutrient-dense foods you can possibly eat for yourself, triggers leptin, right? It triggers satiety. Don't eat butter, eat margarine, right? Turns out margarine's terrible for you. So that's what we're seeing on this heart check program through the American Heart Association, that they're actually in bed, with these huge food corporations. So Kraft fat-free Italian dressing. That's a heart check a product. Bolt House Farms yogurt dressings. Hellman's canola oil, mayo. Campbell's Healthy Request soups. Progresso reduced sodium soups. Oh my gosh, all the things that we actually need, right? We need salt. We need salt. We need salt to hydrate. We need salt. This low salt campaign, very deceiving, much like the low fat campaign. They also give a heart check to things like fake milk, right? Soy milk, light yogurts that are full of sugars, Mazola corn oil, Smart Balance buttery spread. Oh my goodness. Some of these foods, they're terrible for you. The answer is in nature. So those foods that occur in nature, They're hard to transport, right? Which is why a centralized food system isn't the answer. It truly isn't the answer. Not only has it devastated families like generational ranchers, we're losing ranchers every single year, and generational producers of whole foods because, of the centralized food system. It's just not sustainable. It's not sustainable for our health. It's not sustainable for our communities. The people who are a part of the food lobbies and are lobbying for these centralized foods companies, they'll argue that this is about hunger, right? We need to feed the world. Well, if you actually talk to ranchers and you talk to small producers, they are more than willing to feed their communities. And if we had a bunch, if we went back to small farming and we actually produced and consumed within our community, we would be able to feed the country that way in a much healthier way. It's been a commercial campaign to promote the centralized food system. We need to centralize our food. We need to do GMOs. We need to do this so we can feed the world. So, these mass corporations, they're feeding the world all right. They're overfeeding and they're undernourishing. And that's a huge burden on our society. This many people, reliant on food, on food support from the government, is just a way for these huge centralized corporations to guarantee checks to themselves. That's why they fight so hard to keep their ultra-processed foods on the government dole. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, could it be like, what's going to happen if EBT doesn't get restored? I think they're probably going to restore it. I kind of wish they wouldn't, because I don't want anybody to go hungry. Don't save your comments about how mean I am or whatever. But what would happen? What would happen if people got off ultra processed foods and all that they had available to them were, things that were a lot healthier? Right? If they just had the basics, the staples available to them, we'd be able to turn around a lot of this disease. I really believe that. It is going to be interesting to see what happens in the next few days. Even, if you got down to cheap food, like potatoes, ground chicken, things that were cheap, ground turkey even, the difference we would see in people's health. It would be huge. Corporate gangsters, they're pushing illness in our country for profit and ultimately for control. It's clear. You can see it everywhere. Stay tuned, everybody. Your naturally inspired moment is up next.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. Want to encourage you to join us in the Naturally Inspired community. All you got to do is get started. You know, it's such an easy thing to do. There's no pressure. There is no judgment. There is no, me telling you what to do, you being dependent on me. This is something different. This is where you actually learn as you go how to curate optimum health in your own lifestyle. Nobody can curate your lifestyle for you, at least not one that you're going to love. And you have to love your lifestyle in order for it to be sustainable. I always tell people on my health text line, they're like, oh, I got sick of eggs. I can't eat any more eggs. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me sooner? I don't want you suffering through anything. I got many, many tricks up my sleeve when it comes to food, protein, supplements, all kinds of things. Do not suffer through something that you hate to do. No, there is always an alternative. And so that's what we do here at Naturally Inspired. We connect people to real solutions for health and solutions that they love. So become a part of it today. Go to naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment, or just go to naturallyinspiredstore.com. Pick yourself a product. One of my favorites is the Cellular Reset. It targets inflammation. It's a great place to start. Purchase a product, and you'll get a text from me with an invite to join us tonight on the weekly wellness call. And we'll start our journey together on the health text line. If you have any questions about it at all, just text me 720-303-8868. I look forward to seeing you on the weekly wellness workshop tonight. It's going to be a great one. For today's Naturally Inspired moment, I'm actually talking about community today, because I've been listening to a number of different resources and lectures on health recently, especially over this weekend. I did a lot. And this word kept coming up, and I thought, isn't that interesting? 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I almost never heard the word community when it came to health. Now, maybe I heard community hospital, but in terms of prevention, in terms of curating optimum health, my doctor never told me, hey, you need community to get healthy. I don't know about, not that I've been to a doctor like that for a long time, but I don't recall anyone, ever discussing community in terms of health in the past. And now, we've been here with Naturally Inspired Community now for 6 years, started in 2019, before COVID, because I knew one of the pillars of health was actually building a lifestyle that was sustainable. And one of the components to making transformation in your life, you need support. You need support. I developed an 8-part transformation system. It's awareness, discover and educate, vision, goals, belief, focus, immersion, consistent application, and then teaching. This is kind of the components I have been able to identify that create change. There's a process that you go through when you're transforming. And that's what you have to do. If you don't have the health results that you want right now, then you need to embark on a journey. It's a health journey, but it's a transformation journey, meaning you turn into who you need to be to sustain optimum health. So it's a process. And if you do that within a community, let me tell you, it's way more enjoyable. If you try to do that all by yourself, isolated, and you're up against workers who, fellow coworkers that don't understand what you're trying to do, or family members that don't understand why you're trying to change to get better results with your health, or if you don't have any friends that actively work within a healthy lifestyle, it's tough. You're swimming up river, right? While everybody's coming down river, and you're going, I'm going to just, it's a battle. Now, I'm not suggesting you have to get rid of your coworkers, you have to get rid of your friends, you have to get rid of your family. That's not what I'm saying here. But you do have to seek support. You need a place, a community where you can feel supported in this new journey, in this transformation process. So today's Naturally Inspired Moment is how to build community and why you need it. There is so much powerful research proving that the way to health is within your community. Because in real life, community isn't optional, it's essential. Accountability. It provides you with some accountability. It reminds you that you're not alone in your growth journey. It helps with your physical movement, knowing that other people are doing physical things, joining clubs, joining groups, or going to classes. There's an accountability component and a community component to those types of things. It helps with your mental journey along your optimum health and even your spiritual journey along your optimum health. So here are 5 strategies to start building your community today. Number 1, you want to look for a community that has shared values. You don't have to all agree, but you want some shared values. You got to find people who believe what you believe, that health, faith, and freedom matter, right? If those are important to you. Because when your values align, the connection feels effortless. It's a place you want to go. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. So it doesn't matter if there's thousands of people in this community, right? It's about the quality of people that are in it. So plan to attend a community, right? Get into the Naturally Inspired community. And if you want to get, out into your community where you live, then look for events in your community, right? Attend at least one thing this month where people share your mission for a healthier life. And then, incrementally work into it so that it's a weekly practice and maybe even a daily practice. Even listening to the show, I know people who, just listening to the show helps keep them on track because they learn something. That's the immersion part of the transformation system I just described. Right? That's one of the components, is making sure that you immerse yourself in health every day. So it can be like reading an article. It can be listening to a podcast. It can be, reading a bit of a book every single day. But you have to set aside time to immerse yourself in the knowledge, right? So in your community, you have to remember it's always good to give before you get. So strong communities are built on contribution, not just consumption. So offer support to others, share knowledge, and be genuinely interested in other people's journey. So ask someone in your circle or connect with someone in your community and ask them how you can support them this week. Maybe it's a text. Maybe it's a meetup for a coffee where you're just going to talk about, your common goals of optimum health. Maybe it's a walking group, maybe it's a Zoom call where you can encourage people in the chat on the Zoom call or the chat even on the show. It's about encouraging others. So show up consistently because community isn't built in, I'm going there this time. I'm doing this one big thing. And then that's it. Nothing for months or weeks on end. It's about repetition, showing up a little bit, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be this grandiose gesture. It's just like, hey, I was thinking about you. How you doing? How is your new lifestyle coming along? Are you getting enough protein? Like a little question here and there, just to say, hey, I'm out here too. Right? So think about showing up consistently. Commit to one reoccurring group or a workshop or class or a circle that you could be the person that other people can count on. The other thing too about thinking about other people and supporting other people is in our culture, because we're so isolated, through our portals, our phones, that's where we get a lot of our entertainment these days, it would seem. It becomes a very self-focused type of lifestyle. And when we are so incredibly focused on ourselves all the time, man, it can become obsessive. And so spread yourself out a little bit, be purposeful with thinking about others and not thinking about your own stuff. Very healthy, because I see a trend, especially with young people, is they become so self-fixated that their problems become mountains when they don't need to be. It's just that they're always thinking about themselves. And they're rarely, practiced at thinking about other people. Not in a really authentic way. There's a lot of virtue signaling going on for sure. But I mean in a really authentic way where you take time out of your life to support somebody else, where you're actually engaged in their life and helping them and not thinking about yourself. So important. Create spaces for connection. Be the one who brings people together. It doesn't have to be a fancy thing. Hey, we're all meeting. All 4 of us are meeting at this coffee shop. You want to join us? Yeah. And then maybe we go for a walk, or maybe you go for a walk and then go for a coffee, right? Or you attend a health talk together, or you just, get out in nature together. The power is in the gathering. It doesn't matter, again, the quantity, it's the quality. So invite 3 people over to your house. Invite 3 people to a local spot. And maybe it's not centered around food, Maybe it's centered around grabbing a coffee and just talking about wellness and your goals with your wellness and your health. Be real. Don't be perfect. Right? So perfection isolates and authenticity connects. So when you share your real struggles and your growth about your health, give others permission. It gives other permission to do the same. That's how transformation multiplies, right? It's not about being perfect all the time and getting it all right and always being just, perfect with what you do. It's not about that at all. It's actually about, hey, I'm struggling with this, or I thought I was doing the right thing, and this is what happened, And tracking is a big part of that too, right? Actually tracking what you do, because there's a disconnect, people. There's a disconnect between what we think we do and what we actually do. And when you are accountable to yourself and to others, and you genuinely track what you're doing, you'll find the disconnect. And that's not something you should feel shame about, okay? Let me tell you, being an optimist is a good thing. You're like, I'm eating great. I'm trying to do that, so I must be doing okay. That's a great trait. But it's also powerful when you are honest with yourself and you see point blank, oh my gosh, I can see why I'm not making the results I want, because I'm actually eating too much processed food and not enough protein. Easy fix, right? It's an easy fix. We love easy fixes. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Honesty is important. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back for the second hour.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. You are listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. We're about headed into hour 2 of the show already. My time with you goes by so fast. In the first hour, we're talking about the culture control of our centralized food system, how big lobbies impact the regulation of food. And the driving force behind it is shelf life, right? So they can pump out more food across the nation and, of course, collect more profits. It's also got an element of control to it as well that is going to be, neatly tied to the climate change campaign as well. And the fact that they're using our tax dollars, these massive corporations that are raking in gazillions of dollars, they've got built-in income, with the EBT recipients from our tax dollars. Like, I don't know about you, but I'd rather my tax dollars go to funding local ranchers, funding local producers that actually produce healthy food. I'd be much more willing to give to that because then we don't also have to pay on the back end when it comes to healthcare. The people we're seeing in these EBT videos, I have yet to see anybody that's even a normal weight, a healthy normal weight. we're very obese. And then we're looking at their carts and we're looking at what their pantries look like. And it's like, oh my gosh, they're funding the corporate gangsters, all the main players, the Nestle's of the world and whatnot. Don't forget too, they also, these huge corporations have also got their claws into the wellness industry. Many of them manufacture shoddy quality vitamins and supplements as well. They're capitalizing on everything they possibly can, of course, to bring bigger profits to their corporations. I don't know about you, but I don't want to fund it. And I want to see what happens November 1st. I have a feeling like they're gonna push it through and they're gonna continue to fund EBT, and these people will go out and buy more ultra processed foods, and the cycle will continue. Because every time we try to do anything about it, we have people that are like, "Oh, you can't shut off the food. It's cruel." It's actually cruel to keep feeding them that food. It's cruel to keep feeding them that food, contributing to their illness and shortening their lives, actually. Anyway, so that's what we've been talking about so far on the show. We've got many news stories here I'm going to cover for you. And of course, we have a health topic today. We'll be talking about the pillars of health. So stay tuned. I want to welcome Amy, David, Melissa, Patrick, Andromeda, Carolyn, and Stacy. Welcome to the Naturally Inspired community. Welcome. We're so glad you're here, and we look forward to seeing you on tonight's weekly wellness workshop and walking alongside you on your optimum health journey. Thank you for choosing Naturally Inspired, because every time we get a new community member, that means we have one more person that is helping us change the medical model and connect people to real solutions for health. That is how we change this thing. It isn't going to be a savior that comes in the form of a politician, or these big centralized food companies aren't going to go, "Oh, you know what? I think we'll stop selling those. They're not good for people's health." I mean, don't hold your breath on that one, It's just not going to happen, you guys. The free marketplace is how it's going to happen. When people stop buying their products because they know they're not contributing to their health, but they are contributing to disease, that's when things change. It's the free market, and it works when it's permitted to work. Oh, speaking of the free market, my first news story I want to cover today is kind of a disturbing one. Do you remember the injectable birth control? Yeah, turns out that's pretty problematic. Check out this video about it.
Hundreds of women from across the U.S. and U.K. are banding together to sue Pfizer over the Depo birth control injection, specifically being linked to brain tumor development. These lawsuits all started after a study came out from France last year that women who got this birth control injection and used Depo for more than a year were 5 times more likely to develop a meningioma, which is a specific type of brain tumor. And this wasn't like they just asked 5 people. This study uncovered that 18,000 women in this study alone between 2009 and 2018 had to undergo brain surgery specifically for a meningioma. And here's the real kicker. More than 40 million women have already used Depo. In 2021, the Journal of Family Medicine and Primary Care published that over 42 million women were using these injectable birth controls like the brand Depo. In the United States, that involves around 25%, 1/4 of all sexually active women in our country. And this lawsuit isn't the first class action lawsuit about birth control companies not warning people appropriately about how much hormonal birth control can impact your health. In 2014, another pharmaceutical company agreed to a $100 million global settlement over the Nuva ring, not for brain tumor growth, but for blood clotting issues causing deep vein thrombosis, stroke, or even death. And then I see videos like this one of the Nexplanon implant, the little device that actually goes into your arm. And I just keep thinking that one's probably coming next. And all these companies and the mainstream media.
I've been talking about birth control for, I think, since I started doing my show. Because birth control is one of those things that, women start on fairly young. I mean, it's younger and younger all the time because we're actually seeing menstruation start in young girls earlier than ever, as early as some 8 and 9 years old. And that, again, can be attributed to the food supply, in my opinion. It's just, it's having a negative effect on the maturing of boys and girls. Anyway, I've been talking about this in so many different ways because I see it all the time. People with who've been on birth control who, oh, I'm not on any medications. I don't take any medications. Like, we don't even think of birth control as being a medication because it's become so widely accepted. We have mothers putting their very young children on birth control where, they actually suppress their menstruation cycle. That's what the Depo shot does. It suppresses the menstrual cycle altogether. And so there are side effects of this, okay? Birth control comes with side effects. There's a social side effects from it. It changes our brains and the way we view our partners and choose our partners in our life. So there's been extensive study on that, and there's a great book out about that as well. How birth control, when you are on birth control, because your body at times is tricked into thinking that it is, I hate it when people say you tricked your body, because you never trick the body. You never trick the body. Let me be clear about that. You never trick the body. Okay. You may think you are, but you aren't tricking it, right? You can force the body, into certain states through prescriptions. And that's what birth control does. It forces the body into thinking that it is pregnant. And when you are pregnant, your body thinks it's pregnant. You're attracted to different people than you would be if you weren't pregnant and were just in your natural state. Okay. So it impacts who we even are attracted to. So there's social consequences to it. Not to mention, I'm just going to say, I lived with a roommate one time who was on this injectable birth control. And let me tell you, that was crazy. That was crazy town all across, there was a definite switch in personality after that. So I don't even think we begin to have that discussion because I think it's just disregarded, right? Oh, women can be moody. Women can be, hormonal. It's just part of being, I don't know. Because I've known a lot of women that have had some really bad outcomes with injectable birth control and suppressing their menstrual cycle altogether. Not good. Not good. So I want to say that your menstrual cycle is a vital sign. It's a vital sign and it should be treated as such. It's like a heartbeat for a woman. Right? You got your blood pressure, you got your heartbeat, right? Like you also have your period. Your period is a vital sign. And if you are suppressing your period for years at a time because you don't want to be inconvenienced, there's a consequence to that. You don't know your cycle. You don't understand the impact of hormones on things like your bones, on things like your muscle, on things like your mood, and even your brain. You cannot cheat the natural cycle of being human. I know they want to convince you that you can without consequence. It is not true. There is a natural cycle of being a human being. And when you synthesize and remove yourself from it or suppress it, there's going to be consequences. Now, does that mean I'm against birth control? You know, I am for my daughter. I would never take anybody else's freedom away from them. Of course not. But I am for informed consent on this, because we see things like thyroid issues increased by 30% with women that have been on birth control. Osteoporosis, gallbladder issues, gastrointestinal things. And not only that, you just don't know your body if you are not getting a period. Stay tuned, everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
So Naturally Inspired Radio is now streaming on 100 plus video, podcast, and social media platforms. Whichever one you hang out on, just search Tammy Cuthbert Garcia or Naturally Inspired Radio, because we are everywhere you listen. Believe it or not, we are. We're just not easily found for whatever peculiar reason. But today I'd like to ask you to help us grow our BitChute channel. So if you go to bitchute.com and search Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, follow us on there, like the posts, leave a comment, maybe even join the chat, because that helps us connect more people to real solutions for health. And ultimately, we are going to change the medical model. That's what we're doing here every day. We need to change this thing, right? We need to change this thing, and we need to secure freedom for our children in this medical model. Because these corporate gangsters, they will capture it and they will peddle pills to our children until they die. Because that's the plan. Money, control, that's what it's about. So, I hate to get dramatic on you, but it's true. It's true, and we got to do something about it. So you can visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, learn about the mission, learn about everything that we do, and you'll see a full list of where we're featured online and radio there. If you would head out and support us on those places, it'll help us get the word out and make a bigger impact in our country, like we know everybody wants to do. I don't think anybody's happy with our medical system these days. Do you know anybody? I don't. I mean, even the most, the people that are like, oh, it's great, it's great, it's great. They still, there's some hesitation on some things. It's been a long time for some of these race for the cure type of scenarios, and we ain't got no cure. You got to start to wonder, when billions of dollars are being pumped into causes, why do we not have a cure? Maybe we're on the wrong track here, Maybe we're on the wrong track, because maybe we're not even after a cure. Maybe we're about funding the pursuit of a cure, I don't know. I hate to get conspiratorial on you, but I think about that stuff sometimes, And and one last thing about the birth control, if we have technology now, that you can, through your portal here, there's lots of apps and whatnot that it will control, keep track of your fertility, keep track of your cycle, down to the last little thing. maybe it's time we use, technology for good in that way. And we educate women on their cycles instead of suppressing their cycles and just, not teaching them about how their own body works, and keeping them captured by pharmaceutical companies and reliant and dependent on, the workings of their body through pharmaceutical products. Maybe we use technology to educate women on how to practice natural birth control. I don't know. I know it sounds like a crazy idea, and right away I can hear progressive moms out there saying, they're not going to do that. Oh, you're going to leave birth control up to a teenage girl? Well, yeah. You're the owner and operator of a female body. You should know how it works. No better time to learn than now, right? I mean, stop taking personal responsibility away from people. This is part of life. You got to learn how to navigate the life, Otherwise, you're going to have issues. Is it worth it? Is it worth it, going on birth control when you're 12, 13 years old? And then by the time you're 30, guess what? Oh, the thyroid craps out. Now you're on thyroid medication. And then that just is like another few years. What happens? Oh, now you got gut issues. Like, you're just kicking the can down the road and you're asking for more issues. So, by all means, don't take my word for it. Do your own research on it. All right. Some more things about your food that you need to know about. This one's pretty gross. Did you know that they were gassing your food? Because I didn't. I'd heard of a peel. That's Bill Gates' little invention there to laminate your fruits and vegetables, essentially, to try to get more life out of them, so that they can control the produce that comes into our shelves at our grocery stores as well. Well, I didn't know this. There's another product called Smart Fresh. Check this out.
Consumers are unaware that the fruit they eat from the supermarket has been treated with a product called Smart Fresh. Now, before I get into what Smart Fresh is, I want you to see it in action. First, they place the fruit in a hermetically sealed chamber. Then they drop the Smart Fresh into some water to form a gas, and then they lock up the gas chamber nice and tight. They leave the fruit there for about 24 hours so that it can soak up all the gas, and voila, your fruit has been contaminated. Smart Fresh. Now, let's look at an apple that's been treated with Smart Fresh and compare it to an apple that hasn't been treated with Smart Fresh. This time-lapse video shows the changes over 3 months. As you can see, the Smart Fresh apple hasn't changed a bit. Most people don't even realize that the fruit they buy at the grocery store can literally be a year old before it's actually sold, and you wouldn't know the difference. Let's see what the makers of Smart Fresh have to say about their product. They say the active ingredient of Smart Fresh is methylcyclopropene, or MCP. They describe it as a simple hydrocarbon molecule. Well, that sounds perfectly innocent, doesn't it? A simple hydrocarbon. What could be wrong with that? Well, examples of simple hydrocarbons are as follows: butane, propane, and even hexane. It turns out they're gassing the fruit with petroleum-based products, ladies and gentlemen. Now, they just call it a simple hydrocarbon so that nobody worries about it. Who doesn't like a little diesel with their fruit, right? Their website also states that this can be used with other fruits and vegetables. Yum, yum, yum. Safe and effective for eradicating rodents and the population. If pesticides don't get you, Smart Fresh will, my friends. Smart Fresh is authorized for use with organic foods, because nothing screams organic like spraying hydrocarbons on your fruits and vegetables. And the worst part here is that people are totally unaware. Of course, the makers of Smart Fresh don't actually show you what Smart Fresh is on their website. They do, however, show you pictures of unsuspecting consumers smiling as they eat this nasty cock.
So sorry about the goofy video there. It's kind of kooky, but the way they filmed it, but it's good information. And Smart Fresh is a real thing, and this is a real product. And the interesting part that I found, well, the whole thing was interesting, I guess, but because I've experienced some of that before. I've experienced, buying produce, and it doesn't go bad the way it should. And I start to wonder about it. And I'm like, these apples have been in here. They look like they're wrinkly, but they don't even, like, they're not brown. What's going on here? And recently I bought some avocados, and those were definitely, we didn't eat them. And they were supposed to be organic. And this is why I say all the time, organic isn't what it used to be. Because these lobby groups have actually worked to pick away and alter the standards of organic. Now, do I think that organic is still a better buy, especially when it comes to meat and produce? I do. Because without the organic, then it's all bets are off, right? I mean, you could be eating herbicides. So that said, though, understand that these bigger corporations, these centralized food companies, they have bought up so many of these smaller producers and these smaller labels that you may recognize as being a freestanding label. They aren't necessarily the same company that you think that they are. Because these centralized food companies, I'm telling you, they have bought up thousands of these little kind of smaller companies over the years. And so what organic used to mean, they have used their pull in government to chip away at the term organic and change the regulation of organic. So, I mean, like some things now, it used to be like if you had an organic label, you couldn't grow anything in plastic pots. Like the whole operation had to be, very clean and not exposed to toxicity. But slowly through the years, these bigger corporations have paid to change those regulations. And so organic doesn't mean what it used to. It's not necessarily the best of things. And that's why, like, the company I'm partnered with, for supplements and vitamins and minerals, they use a term called beyond organic. And the reason why is because organic only tests for, a handful of chemicals. And so this company that I'm partnered with tests for 2,400, which is way above like just the standard organic label in this country. So they don't want the label of organic, because that suggests that that's all they do is that standard. And they go way beyond that, paying for outside testing, paying for products to be included in the environmental working group designation certification. So they're going way above that. So that's something to consider as you buy products out there in the world. But can it get any more toxic? You can't even buy an apple without it having petrochemicals on it or gassed with petrochemicals. I've seen the difference in produce over the years. I mean, I think I've mentioned this before on the show, like cutting into a watermelon, an organic watermelon. It's not the same color as it used to be. Watermelon used to be a really dark. When I grow watermelons here on my farm, they are dark. They are dark red. Like they are very rich colored watermelon color. If you buy a watermelon from the store, even when it's organic, it's not the same color. And you gotta don't believe your lying eyes, but what's going on there? Because we know a dense, rich color of produce equals, strong polyphenols, which equals antioxidant, which is, wonderful for health, wonderful for inflammation, and to support our mitochondria. We're not getting that in our food supply anymore. It's frustrating, because even when you try to eat healthy, you're not getting what you think you are. Stay tuned, everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. Lots to come. You're not going to want to miss it. Be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations? much of it being imported or processed with additives. Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Welcome back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio, and we are here for you, forming the Naturally Inspired community, where people come to achieve their optimum health, take personal responsibility for their health, and they connect to a community that offers support, right? I don't give medical advice, but I do help connect people to the right solutions for health, for the real solutions for health, through articles, through research, through, stories and real evidence. And so many people come to this community and they've been told that this is the way it is and they're going to have to be this way for their life. And turns out that's not true. There's not true. It is of my personal belief that there's always a way back to health. The body is designed to heal and thrive. That's all it knows how to do. It's in your DNA. And we just need to understand the communication coming from the body and unlock that communication and feed the body the way it needs to be fed and taken care of in order to achieve optimum health. And so that's what we do here in the Naturally Inspired community. You can go to naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. Book your free 30-minute assessment with me. It's a great time, really. You don't have to feel like, oh, it's not like I don't want to go and do that. I think most people actually really enjoy it. And they feel like they learn something and they take away things that they can put to use in their life for better results in their life. So book yours today. naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. So yeah, they're gassing your fruit. They're conning you about pharmaceuticals, telling you there's no consequences, no side effects to things that there definitely are. The other topic I want to bring up today, and it's a hot topic, and this has always been the way I looked at it. Okay? I'm talking about the gender transition stuff. Right, the mutilation, the surgical transformation of children to change their gender, or anybody really, adult, child, whatever. I don't think we even need to discuss the social aspect of it. I don't think we need to discuss your feelings about it. We don't have to, and let me tell you why. Because this isn't a medically sound procedure. It's not medically sound. It doesn't add to quality of life. It actually takes away from quality of life. So like whether you feel like you need to change your gender, okay, I get it. That is a mental condition. And you definitely deserve help and empathy and, live the life the way you want to live. If you want to wear ladies' clothes, and you're a guy, wear ladies' clothes. If you want to wear men's clothes and you're a girl, wear men's clothes. I don't care. Okay? Where it gets unethical is that this procedure of, chopping and pasting, it's not medically sound. And it comes at great risk. And it actually ruins your biology. It ruins your biology forever. Forever. And so because it's not medically sound, that's the only conversation we need to have. These are not medically sound procedures. And so therefore, they should not be available because they cause too much injury and they cause bad outcomes for people and their health. It's not just me saying it, okay? We have some whistleblowers coming forward, and this woman is a whistleblower. And from what I understand, I found her X account. Her life has been torn apart because she herself realized that she was enabling it. She was a part of it. And she realized, oh my gosh, this is not a medically sound procedure. This is causing more harm than it is good. Take a listen.
Science and Clinical Research Management from Washington University in St. Louis. I am also a lifelong Democrat, a mom of 5 boys, 3 of whom were adopted out of the foster care system, and I'm a lesbian. I am also the public whistleblower from inside a pediatric gender center. I participated in transitioning nearly 1,500 unique patients who ranged in age from 3 to 26. Now I understand I participated in an industry that was based on fraud, deception, and in layman's terms, we were running a racket. Patients were treated using unethical and deceptive informed consent practices. They were minor patients. They had significantly presenting comorbidities, some even meeting the criteria for a legal medical disability. The entire diagnosis is based on regressive stereotypes and self-described feelings. For an assessment to be diagnostic, there must be a statistically significant number of patients who will not meet the diagnostic criteria. Parents and the public have been deceived into believing that these assessments are diagnostic, that they're consistent, that they're comprehensive, and that no child is ever receiving treatment without one. But even if this field was completing a true biopsychosocial assessment and saying no to a significant percentage of the patient population, those who would be told yes would be homosexuals, and especially the gender nonconforming homosexuals. We would still be okay to be rendered sterile without sexual function, with destroyed endocrine systems, and be allowed to die early simply because we are gender nonconforming homosexuals. One of my patients, after her radical bilateral mastectomy at 19, called begging for her breast to be put back on. Another patient's intellectual function was so impaired that they could not identify to me where they lived or explain what type of identification they possessed. This patient even stated that they desired to have biological children, yet they were prescribed a treatment that would ultimately render them sterile for life.
You see what I mean? This is not about your social preferences or freedom to be what you want, or it's not about that. These are not medically sound procedures. Sterilizing somebody for life, and I just want to come out of my skin when I think about them doing this to a 3-year-old. A 3-year-old. Like this is absolutely barbaric. It does not provide you with the outcome it tells you it does. You do not, cut and paste body parts onto your body, and that somehow changes you into something else that makes you feel worthy. That is a lie. This is predatory. Our medical system is so predatory. It's predatory because they prey upon your ego with plastic surgery. They prey upon your ego with promises of weight loss without any work. They prey upon your convenience, you wanting convenience. Just take this pill, eat whatever you want, do whatever you want. All you got to do is take this pill. They prey upon you by telling you there's no consequence to suppressing your vital sign of menstruation. They prey upon you. This is predatory. And this is no different. We have created a society that supports mental illness in the form of butchery. You can't cut off your body parts to feel a different way. Think about that. Just think about that. It doesn't create more self-respect in you. It doesn't make you love yourself. That starts up here. It is just, I believe in the future, we're going to look back at this because I think this stuff is going to be outlawed pretty soon. It leads to infection, you guys. It doesn't look pretty. It's going to be outlawed eventually. And because it's a fake solution. Like I said, wear the clothes you want, wear the makeup you want, march in the parades, do all you want, but don't sabotage yourself with self-hatred and end your life early because you have no sexual function, your endocrine system is ruined, you are enslaved by the pharmaceutical model forever, you're subject to infection, you have a higher rate of suicide. Like, this is not a medically sound procedure. Period. End of discussion. It's not safe. And that should be the end of the discussion. This is not a political issue. This is not about freedom. It's not safe. And it doesn't do what it claims to do. When we have products or things, that we find are, they don't actually work. We take them off the market because the consumer has a right to get the benefit what they think they're buying. And these people who get locked into this, they're not getting what they think they are. It's the wrong approach. You were born whole. Something's going on where you have a level of self-hatred that you need help with. You need to be able to love yourself. And chopping things off and pasting things on is not going to remedy that. It's going to lead to more pain and suffering. A very predatory industry. And I've seen some of the videos, from different conferences about this, and they're talking about money. They're talking about starting these gender transition clinics, and it'll be raining money, and you'll just do surgeries, like a whole wing will be dedicated to this, and we'll just like fast food type of medicine. Like you can just cut and paste the body together. There's no respect for biology. There's no respect for nature. You're not abiding by natural law here. And therefore, you're in dangerous territory. Stay tuned because our health topic is up next, and I'm going to be covering 4 pillars to optimum health. And you're not going to want to miss it. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Last chance to join us tonight. All you got to do is go to naturallyinspiredstore.com and make a purchase. When you purchase with Naturally Inspired, you automatically get all the benefits of the community. So let me see if I can remember all the things that you get, because there's so many things. I kid you not. Okay, so you get access to me on the health text line. So that's anytime, right? I answer texts all the time. You get into a priority group that comes through first as my customer. So you get access to the health text line for questions and answers. You get our weekly wellness workshop on Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock live on Zoom. Okay, you can attend it live, or you have access to our back office website as well. Well, you will get an account. You open an account with us when you become a customer, and that gives you access to all of the library of our previous calls. And if you have to miss a call, then you can always catch it on demand through the back office. There's also other resources, articles, and there will be recipes in the back office as well. And that is constantly growing. So you get access to that. You get 15% off of retail pricing from my partner product line. So that means you don't have to pay retail. You get 15% off of all of the products. You get sometimes free. If you spend over $150, it's free shipping, or you get flat rate shipping as well if it's under $150. What else? I mean, there's so many different things that you get. My words of encouragement. Yes, every morning you wake up to my words of encouragement. And that's just a way for you to set your intention and to keep the community together as well. I love it because I start sending out a whoa, and guess what happens? My community members send me whoa back. It's awesome. So it's really cool. You know, it truly is a community where we're interacting with one another. And, you know, if you have questions or concerns about things, I'm there for you. And many of the community members support one another as well. So that's what you get with a naturally inspired community. And all you got to do is become a customer of things that you're already buying. You buy your vitamins, you buy shakes, you buy, clean detergent for your house, cosmetics that you don't want poison in. All that's available to you. So check it out today at the naturallyinspiredstore.com. All right, let's get to our health topic today because it's a big one. I want to talk about just 4 pillars for health because often, people express to me, I go here and I hear this and I hear that over here and it's like a fire hose. I don't know who to believe. I don't know what to start. It's just, there's so much information. And so I'm like, okay, today I'm just going to boil it down to 4 different categories, okay? 4 pillars of health: sleep, nutrition, activity, and community. So you want lasting wellness, you got to tend to these 4 core pillars, okay? So think of them as the foundation of health. If one pillar is weak, though, the whole structure starts to become weak. And when each is strong and balanced, you create stability, you create energy, and you create resilience in the body and also in the mind and spirit. Okay, number 1, sleep. Sleep is your body's most powerful healing mechanism. During sleep, your cells repair. Your brain detoxes and your hormones reset. Hear me. Your hormones reset. Not sleeping or waking up every day at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. This is a communication from your body. Okay? We've got to start with sleep. I know I say that sleep is always underestimated, but I am like putting such a focus on it now because it is a vital sign as well. When you are not sleeping well, your body is not optimizing the detox process and it's not optimizing its reset that it needs. Okay? So don't skimp on rest. It doesn't mean you're more productive. I don't know. That's American culture too. I noticed this many years ago. American culture became one that it was a badge of honor not to sleep. Oh, I only sleep 4 hours a night. Ooh, yikes. Do ya? That's taken years off your life. The other thing is it became a badge of honor to express how busy you are. Like busy equals success. How you doing? It's not fine, great, good, perfect, awesome. Not that. It's busy. How are you doing? I'm busy. That's a condition, that's a state now. So it's the American culture of bigger, better, faster, more, right? And there's some benefit to that. I'm not saying that America isn't awesome, because we're always striving for innovation and to be first and do well and experience success. But I'm saying also health isn't conducive with busy all the time, So keep that in mind. Skimping on rest doesn't make you more productive. It makes you vulnerable. And rest isn't lazy. It's restoration. I was listening to a podcast with 4 different doctors the other day, and they were really harping on the fact that we don't allow ourselves restorative time. It's always about the next race, the next workout, if you're somebody who is, really into fitness, that could be the issue, that you're actually not allowing yourself restoration. It's an interesting perspective, because we definitely don't, most of the population is not doing enough. But the ones who are doing enough tend to be doing not enough restoration. Okay, so something to consider. Rest isn't laziness. So you want to protect your sleep like you would your paycheck, because one truly funds the other. Right? So you can't be more productive when you don't have the energy to do it, or if your health isn't in check. Nutrition is the second pillar. So every bite you take is communication to your body. I say this all the time. Real food, grown, raised, made by nature. Okay? This gives your body the building blocks it needs for energy, for repair, and for clarity of mind. Again, I take you back to that visual I'm always going to with disease equaling congestion in the body, right? You think about a highway with a lot of congestion, a lot of traffic. Things aren't moving fast and efficiently in traffic, right? If you put whole food into the body, then the traffic moves. If you're bogging it down with ultra-processed foods, seed oils, things that gum up, lots of sugar, then your traffic is slow and there's a lot of congestion. So processed food confuses our system. It causes congestion. So make sure you're choosing foods that was alive recently. If it grew in the ground, if it swam, if it walked, or if it flew, it's probably a good choice. It's food that was alive. Okay. Third one is activity. So this is important. Movement is medicine. Okay. It supports your circulation. It supports your hormones. It supports your bone density. And it's also an emotional release. When we talk about stress, when we talk about anxiety, when we talk about these feelings that we have that create, the fight or flight condition in the body, we're talking about energy. We're talking about congestion in the body, energy congestion. You've got to move it through the body. The only way to do that is to get active, right? So you don't need to live in a gym. Okay. But you do need to keep moving through life with intention. And so much of that is about building muscle and maintaining muscle. I covered muscle yesterday, and I'm going to keep it's kind of a theme this week. I'm going to keep bringing it up because we aren't putting enough emphasis on what muscle does. You want healthy bones? You need muscle. You want healthy hormones? You need muscle. You want to maintain a healthy weight? You need muscle. Like you want independence and mobility as you get older? You need muscle. Like it all comes down to muscle. So what are you doing to build muscle? Many people are focused on cardio for weight loss. And I would urge you to make the shift to muscle. Yeah, you got to keep moving, walking, moving things through for sure. But man, muscle is so important. And it isn't just for people that are aging. You got to start building your muscle early for healthy hormones as you get older. Very, very important. So again, you don't need to go to a gym. You can keep a set of dumbbells by your desk. You can keep a set of dumbbells by your bed. You know, it doesn't have to be this big production. You would be surprised when you are lifting, heavier things, how little you actually have to do to change the body. You got to put it under a little adversity, but it doesn't have to be these long workouts, right? Lift heavier, do less, and get better results, especially when it comes to body composition, which is what we should be really focused on, is the composition of our body, not necessarily the weight, how much we weigh, what the scale says. Really, we should be focused on the composition. Do we have muscle, or are we losing muscle? That's what's important. You ever seen anybody, that's a big person or whatever, maybe they've got like quite a big belly on them, and then they lose weight, but they don't really look a whole lot different. They just look like a smaller person of themselves, right? They still have a belly. It's just a little smaller. It's the same shape. It's just like just shrunk down. That's because that's weight loss and not body composition. Okay? So community is the last pillar. And humans are wired for connection. Having people who lift you up, challenge you, and share in your purpose changes your health as much as supplementation, as much as activity, as much as sleep, because isolation weakens. You're not getting good sleep when you're isolated. You're not doing good nutrition long-term when you're isolated. You're not as active. It holds the whole thing together. I can't put enough stress on that. Really, you need people around you in order to sustain long-term healthy living. So invest in those relationships, right? Join a health community, volunteer, get around people that are of like minds when it comes to health goals. Don't hang out with people who are a group of French fry eating people. It's like a group that goes around and eats all different kinds of French fries, right? That's not the group you want to be in if you want optimum health. So it's just really common sense. Make sure you're getting it, not all the time, right? But make sure you're purposeful with spending some time with community that aligns with your optimum health. That immersion piece, again, is very, very important. When you nurture all 4 pillars, do not underestimate sleep. If you need help with sleep, text me on my text line. Nutrition, activity, and community. You don't just add years to your life, you add life to your years. Real health isn't found in a pill. It's built in the daily choices that honor your body, your spirit, and the people around you. Thanks so much for joining me today. This has been Naturally Inspired Radio.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.